All right, thank you so much for staying with Daybreak. The conversation was going on even during the break, so we're just roping you in now. Right now, we want to find a bit of solutions, and we'll start up there, a minute each. Josiah, just start with your final remarks, because this is it.
As long as the government doesn't dither with youth empowerment without bringing in too many issues, and is very clear on where they want the youth to be in the next few coming days, then the youth crisis, especially on the unemployment front, is going to be a crisis that is going to explode in the government's face. I do not think the government would love that.
Okay.
Well, mine is to challenge the youth rather than sit down and complain. If nothing else, if the job market in Kenya is not working for you, it's a drop in the ocean. You can have clients in Canada, you can have clients in the USA if you work online. So
what's that online link? Just like, is there a place they can go to for more information?
I have a computer there, so where do I go?
One, you can go for training. Ajira Digital offers training weekly, Monday to Friday.
Weekly?
Yeah.
Across the counties or just in Nairobi?
Across the counties.
Okay.
I work on a platform called Upwork, which I was trained by Ajira. That's where I work.
And there are several other platforms, I see.
Yeah, there are very many other platforms depending on your skills. If you're good at designing, if you're good at programming. Coding. There are very many skills and very many platforms according to the skills that you have.
Okay.
So try online. I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
Go online.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
For me, I want to say, let's take personal responsibility and a collective responsibility to push for the youth agenda. And I want to challenge the government too, that there are things that they've abandoned, like the polytechnics. So let's see how we can strengthen our polytechnics to give more skills than just the papers. Let's because most of the young people are looking for the skills. If we have the skills, then people are able to even create self-employment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moses, even as you give us your final thoughts, we've talked about the issue of privilege here. What should those in privilege do, especially who are still in the youth bracket, for those who are not? And the majority are not in privilege.
Yeah, and I have said that once the ones who are in privilege, the reason why you have accessed the mountain, it is for you to come down and bring as many as you can up the mountain. We are all the better for it as a country and as young people. Right? My 3 key takes on this. Number 1, my message is to the young people. Let us not wait to be organized. Let us organize ourselves. And let us be united in that. Number 2, to other stakeholders, we want no more of promises, but progress. And lastly, and most importantly, is nothing should be, or nothing for the young people without the young people. Thank you.
All right, Livingstone.
That's a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking, okay.
Livingstone, maoni ya mwisho.
Maoni yangu ni the main thing ni government to create environment ya kufanya biashara. But kuteta tutateta tu. Because at the end of the day, hatutanyamaza because ukinyamaza hutasikizwa. So tuache kitu vijana wapendi kazi nini na nini. Walituambia tuvae suti, ndio tumeweka tai. Wakatuambia tukue na papers. Tumejaribu. So wanataka kitu gani kingine? So ni hiyo tu ku create environment, kazi inaendelea, waache siasa.
Na ya mwisho ulikuwa unasema every 5 years the youths are given promises different from the ones they get after. Hebu tueleze kwa ufupi.
Okay, sasa
tumia mic tafadhali. Okay.
After miaka 5 politician wanakuja wanatuambia venye watatupea kazi. In fact nilikuwa nataka mheshimiwa nijibu hivyo. Mbona after 5 years wanatuambia venye watatupata kazi? Watatupea kazi. Pale Uhuru Park vijana wanajaa nini on Monday. In fact on Monday vijana wanajaa inamaanisha hakuna kazi. But after hiyo 5 years after wameshapata kura wanaturn tena wanatuambia hai mjitafutie kazi. Ni kama ile example huyu alisema. In fact ukitaka kuua umbwa unaipea jina mbaya. Okay. The same na hiyo tu.
Thank you.
So ni kama government yani wanataka kuhakikisha yani vijana wameenda chini. But mbele bado iko sawa tu.
Okay. Mheshimiwa amesikia atajibu hiyo. Next.
Agnes.
Wahiga and Trevor, I'd like to open my reaction with a tweet from the gentleman talking about social engineering and the my psychology. I believe there's a lot that the media can do to maybe sell more success stories like the lady behind us, we should not maybe focus on the negative stories. And I think there's some element of my psychology, and the youth have been painted as hopeless, idle, and inexperienced and incapable. So we need you guys as enablers of information, because most of the reactions here, people are talking about lacking information. The other thing maybe I would say
So you want to see more stories like hers?
More stories, because just like the same about femicide, we saw a lot of killings going around in the country because a lot of killings were also covered by the media. The media is a very, I'm a firm believer in the strength and the power of the media, and whatever the media gazes upon, and you are the agenda setters. If you set the agenda into hope and actually the success stories that the youth the youth that have already actually been impacted by programs in the government and also the NGOs, we can have more hope amongst our youth. I don't think that everything is glim. Wanja is talking about maybe a small fraction of the population that is really dissatisfied. But I believe if we get more stories out, more youth are going to get involved. With solutions, I'm glad to actually share a panel with Gideon. He's really worked so hard in ensuring that maybe red tapes are broken down. We are talking about access to government funds, maybe what the government can do now to push it far, to push further the empowerment. We can drop what can I say, the requirement for youth to submit collateral, make access to funds very easy. They should focus on granting and funding individual projects, because right now they are focusing on groups, and then also there's a lot we can do.
There's a lot more that can be done. Interesting proposal.
And it's not all glim. And I'd like to tell the youth that the world is run by people who show up, wake up, get involved, visit constituency offices, seek information, go online, and you will actually change your life.
Okay. The young man next to you says it's harder than you put it.
Iga,
finally.
Let's not forget that you have been taken through an education system for 16 years that glorifies white-collar jobs and bastardizes blue-collar jobs. We had the CS education the other day said he couldn't find a plumber at his home area. People don't just wake up and decide we won't do plumbing. It's because all along we've been told the only way out of poverty is for you to go through school and get a white-collar job. Now it's when it's hitting us, universities have been churning out graduates, but the government has just been sitting there, killing all the industries. Now, the youth have nowhere to work. Yes, we know there are no jobs. What is government doing? We need a quick fix. They're saying they're trying to transform the education. That is for people who are coming in the next 10, 15, 20 years. What about the youth now? We need a quick fix.
Are you still farming? You told us. You gave up.
There's no business for farmers in this country. We're importing everything. Have you seen KRA's latest data? Our trade deficit for Africa stands at 156 million. Africa, we're importing more African goods than we are producing. We are creating value for other countries worth 156 million.
Where do we go to?
Perspective, yeah.
Good. Let's. I think let's let Raymond speak. Then Wanja. Then we'll finish with the Raymond.
First of all, I must say, Wahiga and Trevor, that Kenya is a beautiful country, and if young people can say what they are saying here about government, then it tells you have a government that gives you the space to be who you are. And when it comes to the internship, the 3,000, actually there are 3,000 advertised. And Wahiga, we have youth empowerment centers that are being launched today, 10 of them in 10 regions. We also have 152
that are being... the regions that young people can go
the there. Regions in all the regions are Nyanza, Western, Upper Rift, North Rift. We have Coast, we have Western. So all the 10 regions we are having.
So young people find out where that is.
Find out where that is. And we have 152 being refurbished. So at the end of the day, perception is everything. And perception that is being created here. And the good thing is I didn't come to defend government. That's why I'm not really pushed to talk, because I wanted to hear. Because people who are here are factual. You know very well that things are working in this country. We have success stories in this country. And as Mheshimiwa said, you have to go and travel in this Africa. Then you will really appreciate
what we have.
That we have the best. But I like what Wanja said, that don't compare us. Even if you are the best, you must always aim to be better. So as government, we will aim to be better. we will serve you, and we call all of you, please knock these doors. You will not stay in your home and want to be a successful person. I liked what CS said in Waiga's show at Two Rivers. Till you say that a member of parliament is there sitting, doing nothing, take a stand one day and try to campaign in this country. Is when you will really appreciate that even to be an MP is real work. So young people, let's fold our sleeves, let's go out, and let's get it done. You can be a successful person.
I would like to remember some people who are a bit older in the workforce now, when they were in universities. There's a time they had a strike because they were given meatballs and they wanted chicken wings. And it's actually a true story. Those people used to get a boom. In fact, with the boom, they walk around, shop for their mothers, educate their younger siblings. That is not the case now. The times of then, even though they were the same university like I went to, up to now are different. But one of the commonalities between all the young people in this country, regardless of their tribes, is that almost all of them are in the CRB. Almost all of them are getting these phone loans and being called all over by them. And you can tell, you can even see the kind of poverty traps we are getting them into if a young person is put in the CRB because they can barely find. You go to the jobs and you see they are saying 3 years of work experience. How can you get 3 if no one is giving you a chance to get 1? And therefore, let us be conscious of such. And as my good friend Raymond talked about, people in the people in the public service, he said 64,000. Yes. I think that is a small number because if you combine teachers, policemen, people in county government, there are more. But the question is, if the young people are 65%, then we can say that if those people are 64,000, as he said, shouldn't 65% of that 64,000 be young people? Because we also want to see that kind of energy put into programming and so on and so forth. And yet again, I would like to finish it at a point of hope and say, briefly, just like the American dream that we read there, some of us do not hate our country. In fact, the reason why we are even acknowledging that we are privileged, but we are also talking on behalf, it is because we do not entirely hate this country. However, we are uncomfortable with how some things are working, acknowledging that there are some young people who would want to see better. So government, everybody involved, stop saying young people can barely write a letter, stop saying young people are complacent. An average young person in this country is able and willing to work. Thank you.
Okay, so Mheshimiwa, thank you. You have the last word, briefly?
Yes. First of all, I'm happy to hear all the issues that have been raised. And I would like to remind everyone, in my years of experience working with youth, there are 5 categories of youth. There are those inside anything, inside government, inside opportunities.
They have access.
Yeah, they have access. And then there's another category who are professionals. They like to hang out around politicians, around CS, around you. You know, they are professional. They are professional. Professional youth. Professional youth. Yes, professional youth. And then there's another category that anything you say, they'll pick a stone and throw it at you. I don't know if it's Wanja or even if you say there's an ACPO, there's opportunities to access. Convert. You see, they pick a stone and throw it. or you say there's a good education system. We talk about TVETs. We have 290 in the whole country. And if you go to those institutions, you'll find maybe 5 or 10 who are actually enrolling. And then there's another category who completely know nothing about their own country. I asked another lady, where do you come from? And what is the name of your county? Then he tells me, my county is called Kiserian County. And who is your MCA? He is completely telling me something which is close to Nairobi, that is that's a category that we have. And then there's another category who are just, they are not interested in Kenya, they are interested in a external world. And if you ask them for solutions, they'll give you US solutions, they'll give you UK solutions, and they don't know the solutions we need in Kenya. And those are the categories of young people we are dealing with. But as I was traveling to the top of the mountain, as you've explained, and you want me to bring many, I am here to tell the Kenyan youth that I saw an opportunity in our country. And this is the best way to approach our nation is to be patriotic and change our attitude. If we do that, there's a lot of things that are happening. Like right now, someone is busy saying, you need to know who. to get to where?
To know Keter.
Yes, to know Keter to be employed. Personally, when I discovered that there was a problem with the youth leagues, when I was a UN volunteer and I was the Secretary General East Africa, I went into a political party, initiated a youth league. I didn't know anyone until I vied as a youth leader. I was elected as a president, came to Jubilee, elected as a president as well, and now I'm in parliament. And I'm continuing with the struggle because I love my country. So as we progress as a nation, let's remember that this is our country. Kenya ni yetu. Let's not talk as if it is another continent that is somewhere, and then we just have to critique. Government is creating opportunities, but youth are just there to throw stones. They are not cooperative. If you don't cooperate, if you've been given an opportunity here, and then you say we cannot access that opportunity, and you have to know who to get to where. Personally, I have talked to the EAC representatives. Yes, EAC is a representative as a solution. And I've asked the EAC representative to audit all the employees in every parastatal. How do they get in there? How do they get in there? And the state, as a government, EACC have been enabled to do their job. So if they walk into Citizen today, for example, I'm just using an example, and find out that some people who was employed because of nepotism and all that, they need to be struck off from the list because they need to see advertisement, because from Parliament, we've ensured that if there is any opportunity that needs to be given to Kenyans, it has to be advertised. And those are the procedures. So in other words, I'm saying, let us identify institutions that are actually supposed to work for Kenyans. And then let us give them ideas and strengthen them and remind them that they need to serve Kenyans.
All right. Okay. I guess that's a good place to leave it.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
So which type of youth are you?
Let's not go there.
Well, thank you so much to each of our guests here, our audience here, for joining us. Today we didn't quite have the normal setup that we have here. Rather, it's just a group of young people from different backgrounds who came to share their struggles and their challenges and the opportunities that they've had as well. Thank you to each of you for that as well.
In the run-up to International Youth Day, which is Monday.
Which is a public holiday.
In Kwale.
So it's still happening.
And it's a public holiday.
And let's plug into our counties from wherever we are. And if you can come to Kwale, we celebrate.
Where can Wanja celebrate?
Wanja, I'm going to just allocate her after this.
Let's see what you're saying online.
That is an invite to Kwale. Thank you.
The SMS line. On Twitter at Citizen TV Kenya. Let's bring them up, see what you're saying online. And you don't leave a name and SMS line. You say the government has neglected the youth. At a youth fund for startup wakipewa 25k, then hapo kuna licensing, capital, rent. Waache kusema kuna initiatives to Citizen TV pia kujeni mashinani and show them what's happening.
Mambuwa tuende mashinani.
Tuende mashinani.
Okay. You don't give us your name, but you say, being a youth Kenya, you're just doomed. Why? This issue of work experience, these institutions require 10 years experience from fresh graduates. Only God will save us. I am a suffering graduate. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Maina says it's a shame that the lawmakers can send a big delegation to waste taxpayers' hard-earned money. There are constituencies that students study under trees and have poor sanitation. Media should do more documentaries on the poor state of schools across the country to highlight this issue.
We're actually working on one. There's one that's being worked on. Yes.
All right.
Again, no name. Please give us your names and where you're writing it from. We can't say youth are neglected in this nation. The basis of all these catastrophic downfall of youth hope is corruption. The opportunities that belong to the qualified are taken by the unqualified just because the latter has no godfather or connections with the employers. Okay.
All right, let's see if we have another one here. You also don't leave a name. You say the issue of unemployment must be taken seriously. It is a disaster. University graduate in civil and construction engineering has been wasted for the past 5 years. He graduated at the age of 23. Now he's 28. What kind of relationship does one expect? The Public Service Commission must wake up from a worried mother right here in Nairobi.
Wow, okay.
Right.
Okay. So those were SMSs.
Yeah.
Now we have one tweet, okay? Two tweets rather. Nyawera Wangome, International Youth Week should be about personal development. How can we organize at a group level if we're not organized at a personal level? Okay, Nyawera?
Let's see, and the manager says it's high time the youth use the same energy we use during political campaigns to demand for a place in workplaces.
Okay, so a call to action. Okay.
All right, that does it for the show this morning. Thank you so much to all of you for coming through.